Hello and welcome to the final part of our tutorial on how to develop Contact Tracing Manager in Java Swing. In this part, we will build the rest of the application, namely the user interface. We start with the toolbar at the top. Let's add a new class called Toolbar Content. It will implement the Action Listener interface. We import the namespaces that we will need and make the class extend JToolbar. We add the class variables that we will use. A window, which is the owner of this toolbar, a diagram, a table, and a tree. All of them are elements of the application main window. Then we add 4 buttons, which are the buttons that you see at the top. Let's add now the constructor of the toolbar content class. It takes as parameters instances of all objects that we have declared as class variables, excluding the buttons. We create the 4 buttons using images that we have prepared in the images subfolder of the folder where the source code Java files are stored. We add the 4 buttons to the toolbar content class. We add a recursive method called changeBackgroundColor, whose task is to change the color of all components contained within the main toolbar into white. We add now 4 showDialog methods. The first 2 show the person dialog, and the other 2 show the contact dialog. They are 2 because we show different data in a dialog depending on how we show it. When the toolbar is clicked, we have the option to choose contacts. When we drag a connection between 2 nodes, it is clear which are the 2 contacts. The Show Person dialog is the same. When we create a new person clicking on the toolbar icon, the dialog is empty. When we double-click on an existing person, the dialog renders its data and we have the option to change it. We add one more helper method called contains_links, which checks if the diagram exists and has links. Then we are ready to implement the ActionPerformed event handler. In it, we get the name of the clicked toolbar button. If it is the Add Person or Add Contact button, we show the empty version of the respective dialog. If any of the layout buttons is clicked, we need to create an instance of the diagram layout class that was selected. The fractal layout and spring layout classes are part of the diagramming component for Java. All layout algorithms are applied in the same simple way. We create an instance of the layout class and call its arrange method, providing as a parameter the instance of the diagram that should be arranged. With that, our toolbar content class is ready and we can go on implementing the other UI classes, File Panel and Tree View. Let's add a new class called File Panel. The class extends JPanel. This is the small pane that appears in the dialog when you click Load to load a file. This is a very simple panel where each item has a label and a button. When we save a new diagram, a new instance of the File panel appears in the Load dialog. The class variables are just 2, a string for the file name and a button. In the constructor, we specify the size of each panel to be 50 per 100. We also arrange the label and the string with the file name. The last code to add to the file panel class are two methods. They return the file name and the button. We will need them in the menu class. We add now a new class called TreeView. In the TreeView, we use no class variables. It extends stack panel and represents not only the tree view to the left, but also the overview area of the diagram. The overview is indeed a control included in the diagram library. In the constructor, which is the only method in the TreeView class, we create a root node, a tree, and a model. We place the tree in a J-panel, which is aligned to the left. We also create a scroll pane, which will render vertical scroll bars and scroll the TreeView content if needed. At the end, we create an instance of the overview control and add it to another panel. The panel comes at the bottom of the TreeView stack panel. We will add now the menu class, which holds the menu items for save, load, exit, and help. We add a new class called main menu. The class extends JPanel. The variables that we add are one JPanel and one JDialog. In the constructor, we create two JMenu instances. One is guide and the other file. The file menu has three menu items: save, load, and exit. The guide menu has just one: help. We add now the event handler for the save button. What we want to do when the user presses saves is to open a dialog and let them type the name of the file. We use the static method showInputDialog of JOptionPane, and we ask the user to provide file name. We use this name to save the current graph in JSON format with the SaveToJSON file method of the diagram class. The action listener of the load button looks through all files in the default directory and renders a warning if there are none. If there are files, it creates a file panel instance for each file it finds and adds it to the grid panel. Remember the get button method of file panel. We use it here to attach an action listener to it. If the user has pressed it, we need to load the diagram from the chosen file. We use the loadFromJSON file method of the diagram class. Here is the panel that appears with the Available Files caption and a list with all available files described in file panel instances. Let's add the static method putWindowInCenter, whose task is to take the dimensions of the screen and to locate the provided window in the center. We call this method for the file dialog because we want it to render in the middle of our application. What we are left to do is add Action Listener for the exit menu item, which is very simple. We just dispose the main window. We also add Action Listener for the Help menu. When it is pressed, a message dialog appears, which renders instructions on how to use the Contact Tracing Manager application. Finally, we add the menu and the panel to the main menu panel. Remember, this class is a panel that hosts the menu and the diagram view. Now we need only to add the main window of the application. It is called Contact Tracing Manager and extends JFrame. It contains the main method. In the constructor, we set the title of the application and create a panel. The panel will hold the base view, the tree view, and the toolbar. Let's recall that the base view was the area with the diagram and the table under it. We align the base view to be in the center, the tree view is to the left, the toolbar is at the top, and we are done coding the application. Let's run it. Here is our blank application. We can create contacts by clicking on them, connect them, save and load the contact graphs. And that was the end of this series of video tutorials on how to build a contact tracing manager with the libraries from MindFusion Java Pack. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest in MindFusion developer tools.